Hey you guys, it is Grace Ransom with the Words He Used podcast. Today I am here with Rebkah Sladen all the way in Gorham, Maine. Oh my gosh, Becca, what is up?
Hi.
How are you today, my friend?
What?
How are you today, my friend?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
Oh my gosh, yay. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, myself. Okay. I'm 20. I'm newly married. I live in Maine. And I have a small business called Glorify Creative.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. What is your testimony in 6 words or less, Rebecca?
Ooh, okay. I have it written down. Radical love, passionately chasing after me.
Wow, what does that mean to you?
Okay, so I was like praying about like how do I put my testimony into 6 words? How do you even do that? And I just heard that and I feel like that's just been my life. Like for so long I was running and like didn't know like the full love of the Father. But like even in my running and my ignoring him, he chased after me so passionately.
Mm.
And then when I finally like stopped running and like just accepted it, I learned that like when you come into relationship with him, he doesn't stop pursuing you. So like even now, though like I've accepted his love, he doesn't stop chasing me.
Wow.
It's just so good. It
Oh,
never ends.
love it. So you're in Maine, but you weren't always in Maine, where you've lived in a ton of places, but I met you in Texas less than 2 years ago, which is crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah, because we got super duper close out of nowhere. Like the first time we hung out was at your birthday party. Like, that's no one else's story in the whole world. Like, oh yeah, we met at my birthday. Like, what the heck? I love
So
it.
fun.
It's been so sweet to know you. You're so cool. We got so close out of nowhere, and then you got married and left, but that's okay. Our story never stops. You're a forever friend for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I want to talk about your favorite coffee order, first of all.
So it's changed
Oh no.
since last time.
Mm.
Because I have this new coffee place now that I'm obsessed with. But it's vanilla and rose latte with oat milk.
What the heck? Okay, I've never
Yeah.
even heard of rose
I
syrup. Is it
know.
syrup or is it like petals? Oh my gosh.
It's not petals. It's and it's probably not the best for you, but it's really good.
Because you were a honey oat latte girl for a long time.
Yeah. And I still am for most of the time unless I go to this one place because they're the
Mm.
only place that has the rose. Yeah.
That's so fun. I'm gonna go on Amazon after this and be like rose syrup and try to find some. That sounds really good. I also want to talk about how you met Jesus. So tell us the whole story.
The whole thing is
The
a
whole thing.
very long story, but I'll condense it for you.
Perfect.
I grew up, I mean, in church and my parents were pastors, but I really lived in like rebellion for a very long time, like up until I was probably like 14 or 15. And like I knew the Lord. I was a Christian, one of
Mm-hmm.
those. And but I didn't know him. Like he wasn't my friend and he wasn't my Lord. He was just a man that I knew died for me.
Mm.
Um, it was kind of like in your book where you talk about stalking Jesus.
Yeah.
I kind of stalked Jesus. I knew a lot about him, but I didn't know him like personally.
Mm.
Um, and I started going to a church in Texas, and that's where I met the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of Jesus. I really loved your podcast with my brother James
Yes.
and everything he went through with that, and like knowing the Holy Spirit brought me to a new level of like revelation for like who Jesus is and how he's the Lord
Mm.
of my life. And that was around, I don't know, 2018, maybe 2017. Yeah.
Wow. So what has your life looked like since meeting the Holy Spirit? Like how has your perception of everything changed?
I don't even know really how to put that into words.
Yeah.
It just changes. And I think maybe it's different for each person, but like there's just
There's just
I don't know.
nothing. I mean, he's
I
that
don't
good.
Yeah, I don't have words. Like everything's changed. Like my heart is changed. Like the way that I look at things has changed. Like, and it's weird because I always knew Jesus, I knew
Mm-hmm.
about him, like I knew the Bible. Um, but you meet the Holy Spirit and you meet someone that you just don't have context for. And it's so hard to put into words. And that's why like there's so many people that can say it much more eloquently than I can. But man, I everyone changes in different ways, but for me, I think I just got to know who I was more, like as a
Yeah.
daughter, as um a creative. Like I always knew like, oh, I have a creative mind, but I never knew what that meant and I never knew what I could do with it. And then I like met the Holy Spirit and he started giving me these like divine inspirations. And then all of a sudden, like I have a small business at 20 years old. And like, I don't think that ever would have happened if I hadn't known Jesus as my Lord or had I met the Holy Spirit, because I wouldn't have been led into this new um, knowledge of who I am.
Yeah. Wow. And I want to talk about that too because your small business is going through some growing, going through some
Yeah.
changes. Yes.
Yeah.
So Burleson girlies might know this business as Made by Beck from the farmers market and from Etsy and from everyone's Instagram stories because we all be sharing it because it's the cutest thing ever. But yeah, so talk to us a little bit about what that change looked like because you're not called Made by Beck anymore.
No, I'm not. So a while back, like a few months ago, I started thinking through like, what am I really doing? Like, I just named it this because that's a name that my boyfriend at the time, now husband, came up with, and I liked it, so I went with it. But the past few months, I felt like I needed a shift, and what
Mm,
my goal always was, or what I wanted to be, was to bring glory to the Lord, to the creative gift that He gave me of like making things with my hands, whether it's earrings or it's other creative decor or whatever. Um, and I wanted to shift the focus off of me and
mm,
onto Him, because the goal is to bring people to know Jesus through the gift that he gave me. And so
wow.
I was praying and praying and praying about it. And one day I woke up really early in the morning and I just heard the Lord say, glorify. And I
Mm.
was like, yeah, like I want to glorify you, Lord, of course. And he was like, no, glorify. And I was like, yeah, God, like
I
I want
get
to glorify
it.
you. And he was like, no, Becca, like that's the name. And I was like, that's the name. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And
I love
so
it.
I like ran downstairs to Jake and I was like, Jacob. And I told him what happened. He was like, that's awesome. You have to do that. So like that day I sat down and I drew a graphic and I put it all together and I changed everything that day. Like I changed the Instagram that day. It was like last week, I think.
Yeah.
uh I shifted everything because I was like, this is it. Like, I'm not gonna hesitate. I'm not gonna like, I don't know, maybe I should have taken more time, but like I didn't. Like I wanted to shift it off of me and onto him as soon as possible. So yes, Made by Beck, what was Made by Beck is now Glorified Creative.
Wow. Okay, I love this story. I've heard it before. Obviously, we're little bestie gals, but I just love hearing like you echo what the Lord has done in your life because He does so much through you and in you and for you. And oh my gosh, He's good. He's good. He's good. Also, you have this is not the first time that you've left Texas for any length of time. You went out of state for college for a little bit. Tell us what that was
Did
like.
Oh, okay. Um yeah, so I went to a ministry school in Alabama for a while, where I actually met my husband, and then we dropped out
Mm-hmm.
together, because I think that we were both there to meet each other, and
Wow.
then the Lord was just like, okay, leave, and we left, and then we went back to Texas, and that's how you know Jake so well, and um yeah. And so
Wow.
yeah, it was very very short time, like maybe a semester that we were in ministry school, and it was a great time. We met lots of amazing people. But it was definitely a season. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very thankful because I got Jacob.
Yes, you got Jacob and you tucked tail and ran for Maine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, guys, this has only been like a few months that we've been apart, and we were like so crazy close. We'd get coffee like every day and talk through everything. So it's been really, really sweet to transition into an adult friendship with you, which is so weird because I feel like we're
Weird.
12. But we're not. Like you're an adult lady and you're a married woman. Oh, I cannot get over it. But yeah, so I mean, there's that season was so important because it set the tone for the next, until you die of your life. Because you met Jacob there, and that's so fun. What has the Lord been doing since y'all got married?
Oh, well, um, it's so funny because when I was younger, I always was like, I don't want to be in like mainstream ministry when I grow up. I don't want to be a pastor's wife. Like, I just want to like be like Jesus. Like,
Hmm.
that's it. Like, I just want to do what he wants me to do, but I don't want to do what I don't want to do. You know how you get
Yeah.
like that? Sometimes how we get like that. Like,
Mm.
Lord, I want to do what you want me to do, but I don't want to do what I don't want to do.
Yeah, and I
You
will
know?
not do it, unfortunately. So don't command me
Uh,
to do it because I won't.
so to answer your question, lately we've been feeling like we've been called into ministry. And so what that
Mm.
looks like right now is honestly just serving like as much as we can and being a part of our church as much as we can. We go to a very small church in Maine called Kingdom Life. If you don't know about it, look it up. They have two campuses, but we go to the South Campus and they're very, very small right now. We're growing and we need more room in order to grow more.
Yes.
But we're very small currently, but we feel called to just serve at this house and just be committed to it.
Yeah.
And it's been so beautiful because I went from a place of like I don't want to be in ministry to like my heart is like, "Oh, man, I want to be in ministry."
Yeah. I mean,
It's so badly.
it's so attractive to want to be in the place where the Lord is doing what he's doing. I mean, you want to be in there, you want to be up in it, you want all of it. I want the blessings to get on me too. Like it is just such a precious place to be. I think it's so cool that you're surrendering to that. Oh, wow. How fun. You live in Maine, which is crazy. So what is the spiritual climate like in Maine versus the Bible Belt?
Oh, it's very different. It's so different. It's very spiritual, but most of it isn't wholly spiritual,
Mm,
if that makes sense. People up here are very into spirit guides and, following your heart or like, I don't know,
yeah.
the other spirits.
Yeah.
So like, and especially our generation too, like they're seeking spiritual satisfaction.
You're there. You're there.
The
Satisfaction.
word
That's the word.
satisfaction.
Satisfactory action. Yeah.
They're seeking that, but they're trying to find it in all the ways that the world's giving them. So, crystals, things like that. Um, and there's so much of that, but I think that a lot of them are coming to the realization that it's not doing what they want it to do and what
Mm,
they need, for their souls, for their spirits. And um, we've been seeing this like massive incline in like people my age and like your age coming to church and just like or even like switching from other churches because there's not like spirit filled churches here. There's like maybe two, like
mm,
mine, counting mine. um they're all like um it's like Catholic churches, which like no disrespect at all.
mhm.
um However, it's usually that's like you grew up in the Catholic church, so you go to Catholic church because it's
Yeah.
like just a family. And so they're there or like other different places or nowhere at all, and they're realizing like I'm missing something and I need to find it. And so we've been seeing like so many young people coming to church like seeking the Holy Spirit and like what that looks like. And Jake and I got to witness that, and a close friend of his like
Mm,
personally, and it was so beautiful because he had looked through everything, like new age, like literally every religion. He like sat down and went through all of it, and he landed at the church that we're going to, and he gave his heart to Jesus. And
oh,
he's a whole new person. He's so amazing. And he like it's just like how have I been missing this like for so long? Like this is what
Wow.
I've been looking for. And we're just seeing so much of that lately.
Wow. So you're seeing like revival all around you.
Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
gosh, how fun. Because a lot of people that I've talked to that live in like literally anywhere but the Bible Belt, like the South, are like, no, it's desolate, it's spiritual wasteland. But like you're seeing it come to fruition.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
And there's really places where it is like dry, like hard. But
Mm.
I mean, people are searching. So if you're there and you know people are searching, that's kind of your job to
Yeah.
like help them find what they're looking for.
Mm. How
That's a good
fun.
place.
Yeah, literally. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, when you lived here, I mean, I'm sure you can relate to this. Like, everyone thinks they know my Jesus. Everyone thinks
Mhm.
they know exactly who I know. And I'm like, man, if you knew who I knew, then you wouldn't feel that shame and that guilt, you know? If you knew who I knew, but they assume that they already do. So it's really cool to have people who are like, man, I've searched for everything but your Jesus, you know? And now I'm here and I'm trying to figure it out. Like, it's such a different place to be. That's so exciting. Oh,
Yes,
wow.
it's so good.
Wow. So,
So,
what is the Lord walking you through right now?
oh, um, wow. That's a big question.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like the whole like ministry thing, what does that look like? And then so many things like um glorify and like how to make all of that work. And I've
Mhm.
been looking for a job and haven't been able to get a job, and it which is weird because up here there's so many jobs available that I should have a job by now, but I don't. And so I feel like the Lord's really just like calling me to lean into him
Mm.
and trust him, like just to know that like he has me in his hands and that he's taking care of me, and Jacob and our family, and that he's going to provide for us. It's really just been a great season of like trust, like
Mm.
just trust. Yeah.
Wow. So, what have your daily encounters changed since getting married and moving, or do they look pretty similar?
Yeah. They similar but different, if that makes sense. I actually have more time right now because I'm not working at all. Other than obviously I'm working. I say I'm not
Mhm.
working and I shouldn't say that because I am working. I have a whole business.
Yeah.
I'm not, yeah, like in a corporate setting.
Mhm.
But I have a lot more time because I can make my own hours. So I wake up with Jacob at 5:30 in the morning, which is a lot different than when I was in Texas. I wasn't waking up that early.
Yeah.
And I make him coffee and then he goes to work, and I spend from about 6:30 to 7:30 or 8. um I worship and I journal and I write down prayers. And so honestly, my connect with God time has become much more, not, I wouldn't say structured, but there's so much more body to it right now. It's so beautiful because I have so much time to
Mm.
just spend with the Lord. And then he blesses the rest of my day. Um, I don't know. It's been like so intimate. I think it's more intimate right now than it was when I was
Yeah.
in Texas.
Wow. Oh, that is so precious. So with you and Jake being like together now, this is crazy. We're seeing the other side of God's promise. But whenever you first started dating Jacob, how did you know that he was the one you're going to marry? Because it was, I mean, it happened pretty fast. Like y'all did not waste time. Y'all moved, and that's because that's what obedience looks like. But yeah.
Um, yeah, people ask me how I knew a lot actually.
Mm,
And the only answer I can give is God. That's it.
yeah.
Like I asked and he said yes.
Wow.
That's all I really have.
And that's as
Um
that's as much as you need. You know, that's a perfect story.
there was like character signs, like I had a very extensive list. Not like he has to be this height and has to look like this color hair, but like character, like
Mhm.
how does he speak, what is his conduct, how does he treat me, does he talk about the Lord more than he talks about other things, or does he talk about other things more than he talks about the Lord? Like, what
Mm,
are his priorities? Will he place me above God, or will he keep God in God's place?
mm,
And after like the first time we hung out, I was like, this is it.
mm.
Like like it was it. Like every box was checked off. And it was just like crazy. Like I think one of the first questions he asked me while we were hanging out for the first time was, so what's the Lord saying to you right now? What are you
Mm.
reading in the Bible? And I was like, did you really just ask me that? Because at the time I wasn't doing so well with those things. And then, but from that day, I did. From that day, I was reading my Bible every day. And from that day, I was talking to the Lord because I had accountability. And he like immediately stepped in as a friend to be like, not even knowing, but holding me accountable to like being healthy in my walk with the Lord. It was so good. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you guys are just precious. And it was such an honor to be in y'all's wedding, not only invited, but in y'all's wedding. It was so precious to watch that union happen like right before my eyes. I'm sure that in those pictures, when you get all your wedding pictures back, and you see my face, I'm literally crying the whole time. I look very horrible in all the pictures. Please don't print them. Please crop me out. But I literally was just crying the whole time because I'm just so in awe of what the Lord can do when you're obedient. Because I mean, going to Highlands was not the super easiest thing you've ever done. And it was not the super easiest thing for Jacob either. I cannot wait for everyone to hear Jacob's testimony. But it was not the super easiest thing ever. But obedience got you where you are. And I think that's so cool. Well, before we sign off, is there anything else you'd like to tell our listeners?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, other than plug, glorify, obviously.
Yeah. Glorify underscore creative co on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and my Etsy's back up, but it's under the old name still. I haven't changed it yet. Um,
perfect.
I think that's it. I think that's all
Perfect.
I have. Yeah.
Well, it's been so fun to talk to you, and let's hang out over Zoom more often.
That's
All right.
Zoom.
Love you,
Absolutely.
Peck. Bye.
Love you.